Well, hello everybody and welcome to St. Petersburg, Florida. We've had NASCAR trucks, we've had IndyCar, and now it's time for the main event. Well, that's how it works, isn't it? We're last on the program, so we must be the headline event. It is a 45-minute contest for round number 4 of the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin. Hi everybody, I'm John Hindorf in the Global Broadcast Centre. In the Media Centre at the circuit, it is Shea Adam from the Mazda MX-5 Cup who'll be helping me out again this afternoon. We're on the left-hand coast, the west coast of Florida, with a circuit that traces not only the main runway of the airport here, but also through the city streets, up through 1st Street and then down 2nd Avenue and Beach Street, down Central Avenue, and then the long run down Bayshore through onto the airfield itself and looping back through turns 13 and 14, the start and restart area with 40 cars on the grid. What a fantastic opportunity it is for some great racing. Along with the regulars for 2026, we've got a couple of ringers, really. We call them invited drivers. Let's just remind ourselves what went on yesterday in our first race on the streets at St. Pete. On a damp track after torrential rain from overnight into Friday. A wet race declared, so everyone on the Michelin wets, and it was trouble early on for Ellie Gossett, and the paint on the runway was causing issues for many people. That was the first caution, and then Vaughn Mishko and Logan Stretch making contact, Vaughn getting pinned against the wall, and Logan Stretch got the worst of it. And a candidate already for save of the season. Grant West got turned around, but he didn't because his hands were quick enough to keep his Mazda pointing in the right direction. At turn 10, on the penultimate lap, two cars coming together, bringing out the caution. Bobby Gossett for BSI was in the lead at the time, and he therefore picks up his first career MX-5 Cup victory. Alex Bashura involved in that last lap, or penultimate lap incident that brought out that yellow flag, and I think the fourth intervention by our Whelen safety car, MX-5 safety car. Shea Adam, as I mentioned, is bringing us all of the news, and we've got quite a few people who have gone to backup cars here before I go to the Mazda grid for everyone. I think 3 drivers who are in cars that they didn't start the weekend with.
Yes, hello, John. We've had quite a few switches on the grid. The latest one actually coming in, just dropping in about an hour ago. Ellie Gossett, as a result of that crash that she had by herself at the beginning of the race yesterday, and the number 77 is still representing the 77 for BSI, but this time she's got a special sponsor on the car because the classic Mazda, typically driven by Tyler Gonzalez, has been put in use for her. So that one, not the 57, that might catch us out at some point over the course of the race. Also in this race, Pinky, the car normally driven by Skylar Cottrell, that one has been lent out to Fernando Lucas. So the 25 adorning the pink and black machine as well. Those are the 2 cars that have gone to backup. Logan Stretch car took extensive work to try and repair, but they managed to get that done.
Yeah, so let's have a quick look at the grid on this partly cloudy afternoon. With Vaughn Mishko, Ellie Gossett and Fernando Luque all in backup cars, as we've mentioned there. We'll start from the front of the grid as they're already beginning to go side by side through turn 10. It's Justin Adecones who is on pole position for Macumbi Makalia Racing. It's full dry and slick Michelin tyres. Bobby Gossett, yesterday's debut winner, maiden winner for him for BSI on the outside of the front row. Then Jeremy Fletcher and Matt Novak on positions 3 and 4. Ethan Lampe for advanced with Jared Thomas on row 3. Row 4, Frankie Barroso and Chuck McTetis. And on row 5, Marcello Panici and James Vance. That's your top 10 as we come to the line. Waiting for the green flag to go in the air. There it is, 45 minutes on the clock as they cross the line with 2 perfectly straight lines as they go through. That's very impressive. The countdown starts now, already 4 wide down into turn number 1 and all the way around the outside. Bobby Gossett in the BSI car from the second place on the grid makes an absolutely stunning outside move through turn 1. There's problems, and Jeremy Fletcher's in the wall, and he's got someone right in behind him as well.
Matt Novak.
Trying to see who the second car is. It's Matt Novak. The
and
best
in
of
turn
the
4, we've
in
got Marcello
qualifying.
Panicia in the tires.
And also a second incident further through with that number 19 car sideways. Marcello Panicia for Saito Motorsport Group, the 9th place starter. We will go straight to yellow flags. And an untidy start for this second competitive run for the cars. Now it looks like Jeremy Fletcher's trying to get his normally immaculate blue car pointing in the right direction, but there's heavy damage to the front and to the front left as our Ford AMR safety truck, the new Ford Raptors for 2026. Jeremy's trying hard, but I don't think he's going to get that anywhere. Matt Novak for advanced in the red, white and black car, also with suspension and steering damage. Bobby Gossett leads across the line from Justin Adeconis, Jared Thomas, Ethan Lampe, Chuck McTutis and Grant West. It's a tough one to call that, Shay. I think, yeah, it was too fast by the number 11 of Matt Novak, and he bounced off the wall back into Jeremy. That's how I saw that one at turn 3, excuse me.
I would agree with that, John. It looked like Novak just carried a little bit too much speed through the corner, hit the wall at a great rate of speed, and bounced back into Fletcher. Fletcher, our champion from last season, taking home the big check, bought a new car coming into this year, and it already had quite a few dents and dings on it and tire rubs after Daytona. For Jeremy Fletcher, though, this is a big deal. That is a lot of damage to that car. Dalton, I'm sorry. I know his crew chief and best friend's going to be looking at the same pictures we are, John, and just wishing that Jeremy would not try and bring the car back and bring any more damage. The good news out of all of this, if there is any to be gleaned, our next competitive session isn't until mid-Ohio in June. The next time that these cars will hit the racetrack is for a test at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the middle of April. That being said, that is a lot of work for the MMR crew and for the Advanced Autosport crew as well for Matt Novak's number 11.
With a bit of luck, and I know this sounds like trying to pull something positive, as Tristan McKee is running way out of line, drops back in that purple car. And the number 7 of BSI, he's running in 9th at the moment. What I would say is they both look like front suspension and or steering issues with Jared Thomas, with Jeremy Fletcher in the 22 car. There may be a bit of radiator damage as well because of the angle in which he hit the wall. So those things are meant to break on racing cars and absorb or dissipate some of the energy. It's not going to be an easy clear up for our track services and AMR safety team. Gives me the opportunity to say thank you to late on a Sunday. Thank you to all of the marshals, corner workers, volunteers, not only here at St. Pete's, but have been working motorsport all round the world this weekend. You give us your greatest gift, the gift of your time, and without you we can't go motor racing. So who made up positions? Well, Bobby Gossett made the best of the starts and got to the front in the black and red BSI racing car ahead of Justin Adeconis for Macumbi Makalia Racing. Jared Thomas has dropped into third. Fourth is the number 31 Advanced Autosport car. Just checking this with my eyes because we did have a transponder issue or two yesterday. Yep, that's the Whelen car going through in fourth. In fifth, Chuck McTutis, then Grant West, Ethan Jacobs, Frankie Barroso, Tristan McKee, and James Vance are your top 10. Earl Bamber, who was the better placed of the two invitational drivers yesterday, got well inside the top 10, 8th
yes.
or 7th.
I think he was
yesterday.
8th, John.
He's running in 11th at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah,
running in
and
11th at the moment,
importantly, Bamber and Bourdais, our two guest drivers, do not count as far as points are concerned. So even though Earl finished in 8th place, we did have Gresham Wagner scoring 8th place points. And that was something that I wanted to bring up early on in the running because I had a lot of people who were asking questions about that online. The way that the points played out after yesterday, essentially our guest cars were invisible. So Bobby Gossett leads the championship after his first win by 20 points over Jeremy Fletcher. Now that's going to have an effect after Fletcher with this DNF will score 10 points for today's race. It's Tristan McKee. Well, he is a rookie to our championship, but he's not scored as a rookie because of the experience he has running in other championships. He's in third, 40 points off the championship lead. And then a man who is always there, a man who thought that he could win the race yesterday if only the yellow had stayed away for about 5 more seconds. That would be one Mr. Jay Thomas of JTR Motorsports Engineering. Jared is 50 points off the championship lead after 3 races. He's won here on the streets of St. Pete. He almost did it yesterday. Can he do it today? That is a car we need to keep an eye on.
Yeah, the race control left it green as long as they could. That incident on their penultimate lap down at turn 10, Justin Bashira, as we said, involved in that as the leaders were just going on to their last lap. And fair play to race control, they did leave it green as long as they could, but unfortunately for Jared, he couldn't make the pass. Daytona, our first race on the 2026 schedule. We're rounding up St. Petersburg now. Then it's mid-Ohio, as Shea said, for the next race. And we spread throughout the IMSA season to our finale, as tradition dictates now, at the Motul Petit Le Mans at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. And always a very important part of that weekend, with the main race obviously being on Saturday. It does mean that Shea gets the banquet on Friday afternoon to hand out the big checks for the amounts of money, and they are not necessarily to be spent in the series. As Shea likes to say, when we're talking about $1.2 million, it is, Shea,
real cash money. You can take it to the store and buy whatever you'd like with it, which, as Jared Thomas did a few years ago, went out and bought Rolexes to thank his crew for all the hard work that they've done. That's because nice. He acknowledges, as we all do, none of this would have been done if his mechanics hadn't given him the cars that he needed to go out and win the races.
Yeah, absolutely right. And there have been more than the odd few racing careers that have been built on the cash that Mazda and Mazda Sport USA in particular have put into this form of racing. Often thought, certainly around about a decade ago, when Shea and I first started talking about this championship, often thought as a stepping stone to something else. Mazda have increased their financial involvement and investment in the Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin. And whilst it is true that there will be some drivers that come here with the aim of learning circuits, learning some racecraft and then moving on, the fact that we have got the huge prize fund makes this a destination rather than a stepping stone. Now, definitely the issue that brought us under caution coming out of turn number 3, Matt Novak losing control of his advanced Autosports Mazda, the red, white and black number 11, bouncing off the wall, and Jeremy Fletcher, the unlucky car to its right in the number 22. Great work already as I think we've moved both of the cars already. And Shid, just in terms of that $1.2 million, how does that work out at the end of the season and indeed at the end of every race?
Well, in every race, the winner walks away with a check for $6,000. Again, cash. You can take it and buy a very nice dinner for your crew. I can recommend some nice restaurants right around this area. But it pays all the way down to 10th place finishes. So you get cash for finishing 6th through 10th. You walk away with $1,000. As far as the season-long championship is concerned, it's $250K for the champion, $85 for second. It pays all the way down to 10th again, but then there's extra stipulations as well. We always pay attention to the best finishing rookie. Now, if the best finishing rookie finishes inside the top 10, they either take home the check for best finishing rookie, which is $80,000, or they take home more money if they happen to finish first or second in the championship. Thank you, Connor Zilic, for making us look at that rule again to reevaluate the way that that is played out. But we also, every race, $2,000 check for the highest finishing female, of which that's been pretty hotly contested. We've had 2 different women so far this year taking home the $2,000 after each race. And we give an award for Takumi, which is the best driver of a certain vintage. That one does not come with any cash, but it comes with arguably the coolest trophy on any weekend. And the Penske Shocking Performance Award, which is for the car who passes the most number of cars from their grid spot start to the finish. And speaking of passing cars, Nathan Nicholson, driver of car number 56, the Watt Machine, he debuted that livery here last year. He made a pass that was voted unanimously by all of his peers the best pass of the year. So Nathan was very eager to get back to this street circuit, which was the site of this move. It went from 6th to 1st as the seas just parted in front of him. Nathan hugged the curb at turn 1 and went, "Thank you very much. I would like to lead this race." Unfortunately, he didn't hang on to win his first ever race. He's still looking for that first race win. And that site of that beautiful pass, John, it was the site of him hitting the wall in yesterday's truck race. Nathan, a little sore after that. He said it was the hardest contact he's ever experienced. But still, we look back on the moment with that pass with very fond memories. And it does just kind of make you giggle when you watch it over and over again from all the different angles and realize, yeah, that worked.
And you have to bear in mind with that, Shay, that yellow and black car has exactly the same performance potential as the 5 cars ahead of it when that all started on the front straight. This is not multi-class racing. He took so much more speed because he read what was going on ahead of him. And if we're talking, he's giving us a bit of a wave there out of the left-hand side. I think he just saw that on the big screen, actually, as he was driving down, because there's a big screen right on the front straight on the airport runway, and therefore he was giving us a little bit of a wave. I was talking about this being sometimes seen as a stepping stone, but what it does do, because it's such close racing in these cars, and all the cars have such similar performance, potentially exactly the same performance, the drivers make the difference, and their decision making makes the difference. And he basically made a really good choice, got to the inside, saw everybody fighting, got on the curb, and what was it? It looked like he was in Jerry Bruckheimer movie mode and shifting up another 26 gears and driving straight through. he still had to pass the leader round the outside of turn 1, which became the inside of turn 2. Smashing overtaking manoeuvre, voted by his peers as the best of the 2025 Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin. And I think, in fairness, it was a pretty easy choice from some fabulous passes that we did have, but from 6th to 1st, I think that one was well deserved.
It is a yellow car, and that's not because he was using the Super Mario Kart star power to just cut through everyone. Thankfully, the lights are out on the safety car. We are going to get some green flag racing coming up here, and when we go back to green, Bobby Gossett will lead the cars. He has led every lap of this race, and going back to yesterday's race, it means there's only one lap so far this weekend that Bobby Gossett has not been in control of the pack. Is that about to change? Of course, this is Mazda Racing. Anybody is going to go to the lead with 30 minutes to go.
Yeah, half an hour on the clock, and we're back to green flag racing as they go across the line, this time in single file. You would think that would make things slightly less chaotic at the first corner, but already there's a change of lead, and Justin Adakonis goes back to the lead, and he takes Jared Thomas in the red and white car through with him. Coming through, Ethan Lamprey as well. Ethan Lamprey trying to get through, and our leader at the green flag, Bobby Gossett's down to 3rd, but holds on to that 3rd position. Also coming through, Tristan McKee in the purple-fronted BSI racing car. He's making up positions further back. Good news, Shay. Everybody's through those first few corners.
Everybody survived those corners, and man, we've got some fun. Justin Adakonis with his mirror folded in on the passenger side. The number 23 got to the lead, does not need to look back anymore. He doesn't want to look back because behind him is Jared Thomas, the two-time multi-time and only back-to-back series champion. We've got James Vance with his hands full of Frankie Barroso, or Frankie now with his hands full of James Vance, and behind them is Earl Bamber. This could get a bit spicy as McKee drops back just a tiny little bit, giving it a bit of space. And now this lap comes across the line. Adakonis leads. It should have happened yesterday. It did not happen yesterday. It was Novak and Gossett. Now we've had the pole sitter lead a lap.
Yeah, and the fastest lap of the race as well, a 1:27.321, somewhere away from the race lap record, which is a 1:24.2, and they're streaming down from turns 3 to 4, and there's a little side-by-side action, bit of hip and shoulder for Jared Thomas and Justin Adakonis. These MX-5s can go side by side through places on this St. Pete's 1.8 mile track that others can't, and Bobby Gossett is pushing Jared Thomas to the lead. This is not really a drafting track, and Ethan Lampe also trying to get involved there in the red-fronted Whelen car, but it is the number 96, the red and white chevron car with the yellow roll hoop that goes to the lead. Jared Thomas leads it for the moment. Will he be scored the leader across the line? I think so. That was a strong move, Shay, coming down through Central Avenue and onto Bayshore.
That was the move of a champion. Jared Thomas knows what he is doing in these cars. He was upset to not get the opportunity to win the race yesterday. Felt like the yellow came out just a smidge too soon for his liking. Of course, every race car driver is going to say that when they're not out front when the yellow comes out. But Jared out front is dangerous for the rest of the field because he knows how to keep a lead. Ethan Lampe up to 3rd. I can't say enough good things about this young man representing Whelen and Sunoco once again this weekend. He led laps at Daytona on his debut. He's hungry for a little bit of redemption after yesterday's race ended in a DNF.
The leader has to go somewhat defensive into turn 4. That opens up the inside line for turns 5 and 6, and Adakonis takes that opportunity. Brilliant stuff. All started at the end of 1st Street as they turn right onto 2nd Avenue, and whether Jared realised that he hadn't had the run from turn 3 that he wanted, but he went early to defend to the right-hand side, and normally that would have been exactly the right thing to do. But Justin Adakonis hanging out again on the outside, and that turned into his advantage at the left-hander that took him onto Beach Street for turn 5 and 6. Onto the runway again. Ooh. Oh, into the wall for the number 44, Bobby Cosson, BSI Racing. He's white-walled his Michelin tyres on the left-hand side of the car. Adaconis across the line with the new fastest lap of the race at 25.5. Across the paint, the new paint at the bottom end of the runway. And indebted to Diane Swintal for passing on information from the drivers about the issues with that paint and the other rubber, not just from the race cars but also from the aircraft that land there. It's been really tricky with the changeable grip across those new, thicker and whiter lines that have been repainted since last year. Now onto the beautiful curve of Bayshore Drive with the private yachts on the driver's left-hand side. They don't have time to look at that as we're stretching out. Still over half of this race to go, Shay.
And apologies for laughing as they came on the front straight and Bobby Gossett hit the wall. He reached a hand out across his body to fold the mirror back out, but unfortunately it looks like the glass part of the mirror was dangling down, being held on by a few cords, and that, I can't tell if it's still there or if it's ripped away or not, but it was just the comedic moment of, oh, I should probably put that right. Maybe if I fold the mirror back out, no one will notice I hit the wall. Sorry, Bobby, we did happen to see that, and I don't think Shea Holbrook and Nick and Justin Piscatel and Andrew Carbonell are going to let you away with that one just because you folded the mirror back out. Diving down the inside, making a big move, missing a braking point. James Vance trying to get through on Frankie Barroso, does not make it happen. Ethan Jacobs slightly distracted by seeing Lightning McQueen trying to come and attack him, went wide too, and now there's a 4-car battle for position 7.
That means that the top 4 are getting away. This is typical of what we see in Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin. If the leaders work together, they can begin to put just a little bit of a gap into the rest of the field. Think of this, we've said this before, Shay and I, so many times. We've seen this. It is like a Grand Tour cycling race where you have the peloton at the front. If they work together and are aerodynamically efficient, and they are taking the best racing lines, then great. 2 cars will be more efficient than 1, 3 better than 2, 4 better than 3. And we have that quartet out front at the moment. But start racing, and these open top cars make a big hole in the air, and it slows you down. So it's 4 from 2 at the moment with Chuck McTutis and Grant West. Actually, Grant West and Chuck McTutis, just as I call his name. Now, that one, I think, is on me because he's pulled into the pit lane. I was just about to say he was the pair, and I think the engine's gone. He pulled his racing glove across the chin strap of his helmet there as the corner worker was working towards him. Whatever it is done for Chuck. He was in 5th position. That leaves Grant West rather on his own at the moment, with a little gap back to Frankie Barroso for Spark Performance. That's 2 Spark cars. They really need to hook up there now in 5th and 6th to get back to this leading group, which is pulling away by about 2 seconds. Yeah, Grant is on his own in the mostly white car, sitting behind this leading quartet, Shay.
And Grant West is somebody who desperately wants to catch up to the leaders. So close to a podium so many times. Not going to jinx him. Not going to say anything. Don't worry, Mama West. You don't have to come for me just quite yet. But Grant West sitting back in P5, waiting perhaps for a yellow for Chuck McTutis, pulling off the track in the AAG machine. Heartbreak for them. Chuck running so well this weekend, showing strongly in practice and qualifying. Big hit in yesterday's race that ultimately pulled him out of it. So hopefully that everything is okay with Chuck. The fastest lap so far, the 10 bonus points, go the way of Jared Thomas, who just bettered the fastest lap. The bonus points for leading the most laps still goes to Bobby Gossett, but Adaconis is closing. It's 1 lap difference between the 2 of them right now. And then there's the complication factor of Jared Thomas, who just likes leading races. He likes bonus points. He likes real cash money. Can Jared Thomas get to the front? Well, he is a little bit more eager after yesterday when the yellow came out and he was sitting in second. He doesn't want to sit in second at all today, John.
8 of the top 10 put in their fastest laps of the race last time around. Bobby Gossett and Grant West, the only 2 outliers now. Justin Adeconis and Jared Thomas beginning to pull the pin here. Those 2 guys have just opened up a tiny lead to the best of the rookies. Ethan Lampy in that Advanced Autosports Whelen car. That is not the safety car, having some fun out there. It does look rather like it. It's the darker soul red at the front rather than the flat red of the Whelen colours, but they are really leaning on it through turns 11 and 12. Now through onto the hairpin with that Sunoco flash on the side of the 3rd place car. Bobby Gossett in the black and red car trying to get some kind of run down the front straight. He pulls out to the left-hand side. Jared Thomas for the 3rd lap in a row puts the fastest lap of the race in, down to a 24.7. Jeremy Fletcher has the race lap record here at a 1:24.259 from last year. 3 cars wide through turn 1. Take a breath, everybody. That is that battle that Shay was talking about earlier on. And Earl Bamber getting involved in that one as well. He's drifted up to the back of them. So that's Earl, in fact, has gone through in the multicoloured car. So drifted up the back and gone through. Well inside the top 10 again for Bamber. But remember that car, we can see it because it's bright and stripy in front of the number 95 of James Vance, but it is invisible for points. That's the number 21 car we're talking about. Just ahead of him, the 48 of Frankie Barroso.
Invisible for points, but not for real cash money. Earl Bamber or Sebastian Bourdais finishes within the top 10. They earn that cash prize for the Kart for Kids Foundation. So that going straight to a charity to benefit Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital, located about a mile away from the racetrack. So we do want to cheer on our celebrity drivers in the name of charity, but Earl Bamber, yes, making a very good pass. Representing Hendricks Motorsport once again, and John, let's not forget Hendricks, Kimi Hendricks and her whole organization getting their first win at Daytona International Speedway to kick the year off. Both cars that they were running finished inside the top 6 in that race. They are serious contenders this year, and they've got some big names lined up for drivers who are coming in, not as far as celebrities are concerned, but talent. As Tristan McKee getting a little bit of a help off the racing line from Gresham Wagner. Gresham overshoots his brakes into turn 1. Tristan McKee goes back through, and now Gresham Wagner is battling with Sebastian Bourdais. Just had to say that. Gresham Wagner is a huge Seb fanboy, so that's something that he will want to play on repeat for the rest of his life.
Has to defend down into turn 3. Seb with a bit of contact yesterday. He's got his right-hand side door mirror folded in as well. Drivers sitting on the left in these cars. They come across from Mazda Motors as street cars, standard street cars from the Yokohama factory into the opposite side of Florida and to Flis Performance. Gresham Wagner having made 25 moves off 25 positions gained for Mishko 19. Max Stallone backing up his 20 moves yesterday, 20 position gained yesterday, with another 18 rather today. So these cars come in as absolutely standard showroom stock Mazda MX-5s with the 2-litre 180 horsepower inline 4-cylinder engines. That engine is taken out of the car and put over there to one side. That'll become important later. Yeah, just over there, Shea, that's right.
Oh,
and
I see it.
somewhere near 250 racing parts are bolted into the car after everything else has been taken out. So new suspension, new gearbox, various fire suppression and safety systems, including the FIA safety cage. We don't want to see those tested out, but we have done in the past. As the battle for the lead continues, we're keeping an eye on that. New set of racing wheels, seat, even a different steering wheel. And then remember that engine that was over there? That gets sealed by Mazda and then put back with the new sequential gearbox and reinstalled in the car. So the engine is street stock and sealed so that there is no jiggery or indeed pokery from any of the teams. Each of the cars has exactly the same performance potential. Then we bolt on some Michelin racing tyres and say to the guys and girls, have at it. It's one of the purest forms of racing there is anywhere in the world. Being described to me variously, and I like all of these, as MotoGP, or Moto3, should I say, with 4 wheels, or 1970s Formula Ford from the UK with fenders. And I like both of those analogies because it's all about the drivers and racecraft. 2 sets of 2 cars, 2 pairs in the lead. Would be a good hand in poker, and it's great entertainment here. Adeconis from Jared Thomas, then Lampy and Bobby Gossett disputing the final step on the box. Then there's a gap back to Grant West. Frankie Barroso is not closing him down, but Earl Bamber has his eyes on a top 6 position at the moment, and he's right with Frankie in that number 21 car with the striped bonnet. The rest of the top 10, James Vance and Ethan Jacobs, and then Nathan Nicholson in that number 56 advanced car. Nathan with some history around here. Took 2 podium finishes here last year. Yet to find himself on the top step at this circuit. The rest of the field streaming through, some damage further back down the field as well. But that is not stopping the entertainment or indeed the competitive spirit as we move down now to the last 14 minutes. That's plenty of racing still to come, Shay.
It is. The damage to the front of the car is the number 9 of Vaughn Mishko. He's had a very difficult weekend, has Vaughn, running in a different car than the one he started the weekend in. This one being white. The one we were seeing yesterday was black, but still with the same livery on the side of it. But Vaughn seemingly unaffected by the damage on that car. A couple of cars up from Vaughn Mishko, though, is a guy that I really want to talk about, driving the number 33. It's perennial series favorite Alex Bashura. He's been running in this series for longer than anyone else. More starts than any other driver, is the driver of that number 33 machine. And this, we've heard it from Alex before, that this will be his last race. This is going to be his last race, at least for a little while, with some family stuff happening on the private side, i.e. he's welcoming a new life form to the world before we go racing at Mid-Ohio, taking a step out of the championship. So Alex Bashura, we're going to miss this guy a lot, but for now, it's a really good thing to see the 33 on the track as Alex goes once again for the Takumi Award, an award he's been quite proficient at winning in the past couple of years. Mishko
battling with a slight aerodynamic deficiency. That car, not how it came from the brothers Flis, or indeed from his team. Earlier on, he's got Ruben Caceres and Glenn McGee fighting behind him now, holding on to, let me see, where will he be there? He's in 20th position for Advanced Auto Sports in that rookie championship as well. And as Shea mentioned, there is a separate championship for the rookies. They take their place within the overall championship, and anyone who finishes in the top 10, if you're a rookie, you take those positions at the end of the year or indeed during the race and take the financial rewards that your position affords you. But there is that prestige of being named Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup Rookie of the Year. The 2 leaders then, with what can be described as breathing room here, but more than that really. Some fresh air, 2.5 seconds between Justin Adeconis, Jared Thomas and the chasing pack, which is led impressively so by the rookie Ethan Lampy for Advanced Autosports, the number 31 red-fronted Whelen car, holding off yesterday's winner Bobby Gossett for BSI Racing in the black and red number 44. Then 3.5 seconds back to Grant West, who's just put his fastest lap of the race in as he's trying to chase them down. Earl Bamber is into 6th now. He's got ahead of Frankie Barroso, and he's 3.1 seconds behind Grant West. Let's see if he can close him down. Even with that overtake, he was barely a 10th slower than Grant last time around, as the leaders head on the Bayshore for their 20th time. And we're getting down towards 10 minutes. Now at the moment, Shea, I would say that Justin and Jared are still playing nicely together. They've pulled out the better part of over 3 seconds on that chasing pair. When does it all start to get serious? When does Jared Thomas decide that he goes for the lead?
About 3 minutes from now, I would say. The one thing that we haven't yet talked about, John, yesterday's race was wet. It was cooler because it was first thing in the morning. Today, walking over to the booth, just getting from the MX-5 paddock, which is basically there as the drivers are passing it on the outside of the racetrack, outside of the runway, to the inside of the infield, basically across from the yachts that you mentioned. It's a very long walk, and I was sweating. I live here. I don't sweat when I go outside. It is much warmer, much muggier, much more heat suppressant in the atmosphere today than anticipated. So the cars giving each other a little bit more space. Jared Thomas backing off from Justin Adaconis. That's a move to try and keep the cars cool, because that is actually a consideration for today. Now you've got a situation where Bobby Gossett has realized, I don't care about keeping my car cool. It's 9 minutes to go. I want to get on the podium again. I need to prove to Shea Holbrook that I learned how to do the BSI challenge, which is the straight arm champagne dump into your mouth. Yesterday, he sprayed champagne on the podium, and Shea gave him a lesson on how to do it because the apple cider was not being sprayed as efficiently as she wanted. So now Bobby has to get back to the podium to prove that he can do it. The only thing is Ethan Lampy's never been on the podium in this championship, and he would really, really like the chance to spray some apple cider.
Through to the final hairpin. Let's see if there are differing lines coming out onto the runway. And we have a
Glenn
run
McGee
through at the end of the long straight down to turn 4. That is the JTR Motorsport Engineering Glenn McGee car. Remember, he was battling away in that little battle pack towards the bottom end of the top 10. Side by side for the lead. Jared Thomas may have seen that on the big screen. He's not going to wait this time for the yellow flags to come out. He goes to the right-hand side and takes the lead, just in case we see the safety car. But here's Adaconis, goes back around the outside at turn 5 and reclaims the lead. This is classic Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup, just before the yellow flags. We are into the yellow flag portion and now back into green. They can race again. It's been covered at the moment by local yellows. Behind them, Ethan Lampy is holding off Bobby Gossett. The lead changing twice in 1.5 corners. Here comes the 96 again in the hands of Jared Thomas. I think we're staying green. I think Glenn McGee has got that car turned around. No, we're going full course yellow. Full course yellow with 7 minutes and 20 to go. Jared Thomas had his moment, had the lead, but Justin Adaconis has nicked it back. He's stolen it back. It was his, and he said, no thanks, I'm not giving this one up. Now, can we get this cleared? Can we get Glenn McGee out of the runoff there and pointing in the right direction and get this race restarted?
Please.
It brings everybody back in. I don't see damage to Glenn's JTR Gold number 69. And again, the corner workers have got there. Well, it's dead stick. There's no forward motion being provided by the 4-cylinder Mazda engine. The 2-litre is not providing any horsepower at the moment. So they're going to have to tow him out of there. We might get a couple of laps here. They've got the tow strap out already. Excellent. Excellent work by the safety team. And the appropriately named recovery truck, Short Caution Motorsports. We like that. Let's make sure that is correct, gentlemen.
Yeah.
They're already
Well done.
putting that car under tow. Brilliant stuff.
What a great
So
move.
a pass.
Just a quick opportunity, John, sorry to interrupt, that Glenn McGee representing iRacing once again this weekend. St. Pete coming to iRacing soon. You can get the opportunity to try a pass like what we saw from Jared Thomas on Justin Adaconis down the inside at turn 4. Got the braking right, just carried a little too much speed through the apex, and Adaconis went, thank you very much, I'll take this position back. I will hang it out around the outside of turn 5, and the lead is mine. Adaconis is hungry for that first win, and he is going to be very disappointed that it's not long caution recovery.
Yeah, true enough. True enough. I mean, if that is the pass that earns Justin Adaconis the lead and the first win, then you know that's a heck of a way to do it. It is a little bit more open at turn 4. I've noticed this year the right-hand wall has been pushed back. The curb, I think, is roughly in the same place. But it looks to me as though the wall is a bit further back. Hey, we're going straight back. Great. Brilliant stuff by Race Control. Green flag in the air. Tony waving it with gusto as ever. And Adaconis now has to defend again, but this time everyone's behind him. Slightly lackluster start from Bobby Gossett, and he's in trouble. Grant West, who was 2 seconds back down the road, is having a look down the inside. He'll have to go side by side with the black car to try and make it. They're overlapping going through turn 2 and 3, but they can't make... Oh, someone's got a puncture.
Ethan Jacobs.
And that, it is Ethan Jacobs. I was just about to say, Shay, the number 99 car and the JDH Racing car was in 9th position on the restart. Is it a puncture or has he had further problems?
I think that's broken suspension given the way the car was crabbing into the wall. That might be another yellow. So guys, if you've got an opportunity to make a pass, make it now. 3 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock. If we have to go to full course caution, it will be coming as Damon Oki is backwards into the tires, but manages to recover.
Yeah, and we saw Race Control giving everybody the opportunity. How about Ethan Lampy? He's right with the leaders. Full course yellow has not yet come out. We'll probably get them through to the braking area. Turn 1 down the inside. Huge send by Jared Thomas, but he's not going to hold on to that one. Watch Ethan Lampy in the second of the red cars. They are still green at the moment. I expect to see a full course yellow any second now as they cross the line. It will be Adaconis who holds on to the lead with Jared Thomas in second, and third is Ethan Lampy. That might be the finish with 2 minutes and 52 to go. Once again, Race Control playing an absolute blinder, and our wrecker truck being told to hold for the whole team, the whole field to come through. Our AMR safety team with the new Ford Raptors for 26 already with the number 99 Mazda. The opportunity was there, Shay, and it was almost taken by Jared Thomas. Tried the block pass into turns 13 and 14, leading back on to the airstrip. And it was, yeah, I think you're right, Shay. It looked like something had gone wrong with that number 99 as it dropped 2 drivers left. What a shame for the JDH Racing car and Ethan Jacobs. We did have somebody finish, who was it who finished 4th yesterday? Was that Jared? Yesterday, Shay.
4th in yesterday's race was Fletcher.
Justin Fletcher yesterday finished with broken suspension and still brought the car home in 4th position. The car crabbed back into the pit lane. I hadn't realised that. I only saw that it was pointed out to me by one of our viewers, and I went back and had a look, and he was absolutely spot on. So incredible. Not sure whether that broke after the checkered flag or in the run to it, but certainly as it went back to the pit lane, that was incredible stuff. They build these Mazdas tough.
Yeah.
So Justin Adaconis. Go ahead, Chip.
props have to go to Gresham Wagner as well if we're talking about being built tough. You look at one of these races and how competitive the entire field is. The midfield now more competitive than the front of the field in years past. Gresham Wagner has passed 28 cars in today's race to get up into the top 9. We were sitting at lunch at Mazda Hospitality, and I said, hey, where are you starting? And he goes, P38. I said, oh, so you're going to get the Penske Shocking Performance Award. And he goes, I don't think so. It's tough now. The midfield is so competitive. Gresham, you took it, and you threw it out of the ballpark. Way to go, my friend. White flag flies. Justin Adakonis is 1.8 miles away from his first win.
And that's championship winning kind of performance from Gresham Wagner to pull those points back and get inside the top 10. Incredible stuff. As far as our invitational drivers, Earl Bamber up in the top 6 and looking for something better than that. But he will finish 6th, and Sebastian Bourdais just outside the top 10. For Macumbi Makalia Racing, ahead of 4 BSI racing cars. So Seb ending up in 11th position on what is absolutely his home circuit that he's had much success in the past, with 2 wins here in IndyCar. So Adakonis, another first-time winner under yellow, as we had yesterday with Bobby Gossett. Jared Thomas second. And what about Ethan Lampe, rookie driver in 3rd position? 2 days running, we've had a rookie on the overall podium shit.
I'm so impressed with this young man. Ethan Lampe is somebody who's come to the shootout a couple of years now. He was 2nd in the scholarship award this year. He's somebody that Whelen picked out as being just a little bit special. He's got that special something. We don't know what it is, but we believe in him. They backed him. They decided to put their sponsorship on his car. It took 4 races for Ethan Lampe to get his first trophy. It only took 2 for him to lead his first laps, doing it for the Advanced Autosports Group. They're going to be celebrating hard, but the biggest party tonight will be for Macumbi Makalia Racing. In his 2nd year in this championship, he came close to getting a win before, but it didn't work out. He's had pole positions, 2 of them now. He's had a 2nd place finish. He's had a 3rd place finish. This is the first time that Justin Adakonis will go to the top step of the podium. But the guy behind him will be happiest leaving this weekend, John, because Jared Thomas will be tied for the championship lead with Bobby Gossett, and they have a slight gap of 40 points over Justin Adakonis.
Adakonis came into this weekend as the championship leader. He won't leave, but he will take away his first victory at Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin. He'll be happy with the weekend spoils, and he announces himself as a 2026 championship prospect. After the first couple of rounds at Daytona, he led the points, but he's raced his way to the top step of the podium today against one of the most experienced and quickest drivers in the field in Jared Thomas. Twice Thomas got ahead of him in this race, and twice Adakonis fought back immediately to retake the top spot. And that is a worthy victory, that outside manoeuvre to retake the lead before the full course yellow came out. An absolute champion's move and a winner's move here this weekend on the streets of St. Petersburg.
And a weekend that's a little bit extra special for Justin because his dad, Neil, comes to all of his races, but his mom doesn't. She's here this weekend. Yesterday's race, they had a transponder issue. It resulted in a poor finish. He was thinking maybe mom was a bit of bad luck. I think we might be seeing mom at every round from here on out.
Has to. Justin Adakonis wins it then. 0.385 of a second because we're behind the safety car. Whelen Mazda MX-5 Cup presented by Michelin. Possibly the only racing series on the planet where when we finish behind the safety car, the gaps are bigger than if we were racing under green flag. Jared Thomas and Ethan Lampe will join Justin on the podium. Ethan, the best of the rookies. Then it's Bobby Gossett backing up his win yesterday with a 4th. Grant West Earl Bamber, the best of the invitational drivers. Frankie Barroso, Nicholson, Wagner, 28 cars past, and James Vance in the top 10. Seb Bourdais just ahead of the BSI group, which is Tristan McKee, Ethan Goulart, and Ethan Tyler. Christian Hoddenland, Can Ebenham, one of the rookies, in 16th. Alex Bashura, 19th. Max Stallone made up a load of places again for Wheels America Racing, finished inside the top 10. Then it was Gravett, Panicia, Parker DeLong, Jemison Riley, Brian Dombrowski, Chris Hutter, Will Robinson, Ruben Caceres further down than I thought he might have been, Charlotte Trainer, and then some drivers who had problems yesterday. Logan Stresh, remember, in the wall. Ryan Leach, Damon Oki we saw with a spin. He recovered to 34th. Fernando Luque in the backup car, and everyone else off the lead lap, with Glenn McGee bringing out that final neutralisation by the Whelen Mazda MX-5. So the street race at St. Petersburg, the event we all love to see, that brings us plenty of excitement and entertainment, well, lived up to its billing once again. Quite a gap before we see these cars again. The good news is that Shea Adam and me, John Hindhaugh, will be back to do it all again. Join us for the rest of the season.